All right. Hello and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to In the Black, the online summit for retailers to prepare for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I'm just going to hang around for a bit, wait till attendees start flowing in. Looks like we've already got a few people waiting in the practice room before we started. So I can see some of them joining in right now. Welcome back, everyone, to the summit. Glad to have you here. This is day 4 of In the Black. We've had 3 days and 2 sessions per day, so that's 6 sessions already in this summit. And then we only have a couple more sessions to go after this one right now. So thank you all for joining us and for hanging around for this entire thing. I know there's a lot of information coming at you. And if you've missed anything, there's always a replays. You can go back to summit.gorgias.io, find the replays, and look at that stuff. And those replays will be available even after the summit ends. So next week, when you have more time, maybe you can go check that out. Right now, I want you all who are here live, jump in on the chat. There's a little chat bubble. Introduce yourself. Let me know who you are, what company you work for, where you're coming from, and what you're looking to get out of today's presentation. I'm going to start with a quick recap of what happened so far in the summit. So we started off with Aaron from Shopify Plus, who was talking about some of the research that he's uncovered for Black Friday. So he gets to see a lot of data from Shopify, their customers, and how they manage promotions and sales during Black Friday. And something he noticed was that typically retailers tend to depend on paid advertisement like Facebook and Google ads to get more traffic during the holidays. The problem is the costs go up because everyone is trying to get that traffic. All the retailers are bidding for it, and the revenues don't go up as much. So what Aaron was trying to say was that you should try to broaden your marketing outside of just ads, or if you have to do ads, you buy it a little earlier when it's cheaper, and then also try to increase your AOV so that you get that return on ad investment. We then had some sessions about customer success, how to scale, how to manage the increase in customer volume and tickets coming in. Roman from Gorgias, which is the Shopify helpdesk app, spoke about some of that and creating a really good customer journey and customer experience. And that's kind of been a common theme for this whole summit, is taking care of your existing customers, because that's where your biggest revenues are coming from for the lowest cost, right? That's where your highest ROI is, giving a really good experience to your customers. And we even had Reza from Shoelace last night talk about how to create a really good customer journey retargeting experience. And something that Reza mentioned in his talk was messenger marketing, right? So we've spoken about how promotional ads on Facebook and Google are getting expensive, but messenger marketing is kind of like an untapped sort of channel for you. So you can use that and create really, really good, very specific customer experiences and promote your products to them during the holiday shopping season without the additional expenses that would come with Facebook and Google ads. And so that's why today we have Arjun, CEO of Shop Message, come and talk to us about messenger marketing. And he's going to explain how you can put this stuff together for your campaigns. Hopefully you'll get a nugget or two that you can implement before Black Friday starts. Arjun, take it away.
Thanks so much, Sid. So first off, I wanted to just thank Gorgias for organizing In the Black. Honestly, I wish this had existed years ago, since I would have definitely benefited from it as a merchant, because we were actually Shopify merchants for 4 years before even building Shop Message. So all of the conversations, all of the previous speakers have been very inspiring, and I'm just excited to be here to contribute and to see how we can help all of you guys increase your sales.
Thanks, man. Glad to have you.
Great. So my conversation is going to be around how to increase holiday sales via messenger marketing. And so, many of you might have noticed that in 2017 and especially 2018, really Facebook Messenger and chat in general has emerged as a really powerful new channel that was previously untapped. And especially now that Facebook ads and Instagram ads are becoming more and more competitive, retailers are looking for ways to really have a personal relationship with their customers, both before and after the purchase. And because so much of the behavior so much of people's general communication with their friends and family has gone to chat and to Messenger, it only makes sense that businesses want to be where their customers are. So, we built Shop Message, a platform to really enable any retailer to create this personal relationship with their customers over Facebook Messenger. So during my talk today, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Facebook Messenger, why it's important, what the opportunity is, what are the best ways to use Messenger for everything from marketing to even customer support. And I can show some case studies, and at the end we have a special offer for all the listeners here to get a free Shop Message for your store.
Nice. That's awesome. And guys, if you have any questions, just jump into the chat over there. Feel free to ask us, and we'll bring them up during this conversation or at the Q&A at the end.
Great. So, before I get started, it probably makes sense to just give a little bit of background of who I am and, how I and my company actually got to this journey of building Shop Message. And, so as to start off with, my first job out of college was working at Microsoft, where I basically learned the value of making easy to use software for productivity for the masses. But after that, like the past 10 years of my career have been spent building consumer businesses on Facebook. So my co-founder and I, we've been working together for almost the past 10 years. He actually started off as one of the earliest product managers at Facebook and worked on some of the features that are just core to the newsfeed back in the very early days. And then he and I met when we saw this opportunity to work at a company called Zynga from the early days. So I'm not sure how many of you guys remember games like Farmville or Words with Friends, but back in around 2007, 2008, 2009, that was really the start of the social games revolution. And so being as one of the early product managers at the company, we got to really see how Facebook wasn't just a tool for people to talk to their friends and family using pictures in the newsfeed. It was actually a way to connect even beyond that through games. And more importantly, you could scale a business to millions, hundreds of millions of users and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales just over Facebook. So, my co-founder Andrew and I, we were both running Words with Friends worldwide. So this is a game that's beloved by hundreds of millions of people, and it really is a testament to the power of social media, because before that, you didn't really see massive businesses being built on Facebook. So, we were at the company for a good chunk of time, for 4 years, and we realized that the companies like Zynga were having so much success selling virtual goods that, you couldn't touch and feel with your own hands. And we noticed that e-commerce was growing. And so what we did was we took this idea of building a business on top of Facebook for virtual goods, and then we brought it to physical goods. So, we started off on Shopify in the earlier days. So 2013 is when we started. And, we built the store that's done over $70 million in sales, really driven by Facebook ad automation. And like many of the merchants that are on Shopify, a lot of what enabled us to succeed was having a really solid understanding of the Facebook platform. So how virality works, what causes somebody to actually share, how do you create products that resonate with the Facebook audience? And then for us at the time, most importantly, was Facebook ad automation. So we built a system where a designer could upload a piece of artwork, choose what they wanted to show up on, whether it's a piece of jewelry or a mug or a t-shirt or whatever, and then they'd push one button and it would get launched on Shopify. But more importantly, you'd have ads launched all over Facebook and Instagram and even Pinterest and Google Shopping. And then the system, in the beginning, we spent a lot of manual time trying to adjust these ads to make sure that they were firing correctly. But ultimately, we built an automation tool to just do all this for us so that we didn't have to think about the ads. It would automatically scale up the ads that worked and then kill the ones that didn't. And then it closed the loop by giving us reports back in terms of what's working and what's not. And that really informed the next set of designs. So, we are very much indebted to Shopify as building the platform that enabled retailers like us to really become entrepreneurs. And I know that that's the story for many of you out there. So what we noticed is in the beginning of 2017, we noticed a few things started happening. One is we noticed that ad costs started to rise and you needed to have more defensibility. And then we also noticed the Messenger platform. We noticed that Facebook was putting a lot of investment in the Messenger platform, and looking at the usage data, we found that people were organically using it more to talk to their friends and family. So, we basically built Shop Message for ourselves, and the idea behind it was, Shopify had already begun giving receipts and order confirmation and shipping notifications, when someone makes a purchase. But if you think about the email marketing world, there's so much opportunity to send messages before the purchase and even after the purchase. So before the purchase, you want to really help educate customers about your brand. And then after the purchase, you want to really convert a one-time buyer into someone who's loyal and keeps coming back and really is tied to the brand's identity. So we built a Shop Message basically for our own store and found that it just worked wonders. We found that, even from the very first couple of days, we noticed that 10 to 15% of our overall sales were coming from Messenger. And we also noticed that for traffic that we were driving from Facebook, we saw a reduction in, because our conversion rates went up, we saw that our Facebook ads were around 25% more effective. And that meant also that net neutral or net negative all of a sudden are positive now, and that allowed us to spend more on Facebook. So, in the beginning, Messenger, we built it for ourselves as a complement to Facebook ads. And then, from there, really saw the power of Messenger way beyond that. So, that's essentially our story for how we got here. And I would say for us, there's a lot of people who are doing Messenger marketing now. And one of the things that's helped us having had the experience in understanding Facebook really well and having a relationship with them. Two is understanding the Shopify platform, having been on for so many years and building a lot of custom tools for it. And number three, just actually, being a consumer retailer, or being a developer of software that helps that helps e-commerce companies. So that's a little bit about my journey. Before I dive into the nitty-gritty of what you can do with Messenger, I want to first take a step back and talk about why we built on Messenger in the first place and what the opportunity is. And it's really that if you take away one thing, it's that the way people communicate has changed. And now billions of people have switched to messages as their main way of communicating with their friends and family. But the problem is communication with brands still happens over email, phone menus, and just one-off apps that you have to download. So, we want to build a world where conversations with your favorite brands can also happen on Messenger, and getting in touch with your brands and hearing updates that are genuinely interesting to you can happen on the same channel where you really live, which are these chat channels. So, and if you look at some of the other data, we've seen that 6 of the top 10 most used apps are messaging related apps. And messaging apps, if you take a look at the Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, DM, the usage is actually significantly higher than even the social networks themselves. So 1.3 billion active users on Messenger. That's more than people on Pinterest and Snapchat combined. It's actually more than what you see on Instagram. So one of the very first rules of marketing is if you want to connect with your customers, you got to be where your customers are. And so, now as we see the next decade unfold, your business needs to be on chat and starting off with Messenger. So this is not just a theory. We've seen big brands already start to adopt this. And this is similar to how 10 years ago brands were wondering whether to even have a presence on the Facebook newsfeed at all. Because 10 years ago, if you recall, brands were thinking, okay, I don't know if I want to be on Facebook. Facebook is where people hang out with their friends, and there's really no place for brands to be part of the conversation. But as history has shown, the newsfeed has evolved into a true e-commerce channel, and the brands that adopted social media in an authentic way, they're the ones that grew exponentially, and the ones that didn't were the ones that their business kind of stagnated or even died. So we're seeing a similar shift with chat, and there's going to be winners, there's going to be some losers, and some brands have already dipped their toes. This is really the time to really adopt a messenger strategy, and using apps like Shop Message give an easy way to dive in. And lastly, this is not driven by Facebook or even by brands. It's actually driven first and foremost by the customer's desire to interact with their favorite brands, where they actually interact with their friends and family.
I think there's definitely like a really good opportunity here with Messenger, because it's still early days compared to like some of the other platforms. Eventually, like every platform sort of kind of reaches saturation points and costs go up. But right now, if you get into it, you still have lower costs and you can still sort of like dominate on Messenger.
Totally. And I'll get into this later. There was a risk early on of Messenger being a channel that just gets exploited by businesses and turns into a spam channel. But, Facebook it's really important to Facebook for that Messenger is a really long-term sustainable place where people talk to their friends and family, and they're not being, and they can do that unencumbered by interruptions from businesses they don't actually care about. So, there's a huge element of Facebook policing it to make sure that businesses are using Messenger in a responsible way. And really, that's what you want to be doing as well. Like, you want to be sending personalized messages to the people who actually care about them. And if people are marking you as spam or reporting you, that's why we have marketing automation, and that's why we're not sending the same message to every one of your subscribers.
Yeah, you mentioned like the authenticity, and that's the key thing here. Just being authentic on this channel, whatever channel you're using, but especially Messenger, and having those really good, personalized conversations versus buy this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. How do you make it more of a conversation versus something that feels just like an ad? So, moving forward, the brands that you already know that are on Shopify already use Messenger, and we've had the opportunity, the fortune of working with thousands of brands on their Messenger strategy. And what we've seen is over the past 1 year, we've seen $100 million plus being generated just from Messenger. And that's not an insignificant number. That's a meaningful chunk of people's sales, and a lot of that's being driven by the efficacy of the channel itself. Because this is still because Messenger allows you to send a push notification to your customers, and because there's very few businesses on it right now, you're going to benefit from 80% open rates, which at best you'll get maybe a 30% open rate from an abandoned cart email. So you'll be actually able to reach your customers, and then because the messages themselves are pulling straight from your product catalog and they're very relevant, you're going to get very high click-through and conversion rates. And ultimately, if you're a brand that drives traffic from Facebook, especially paid traffic, then you will definitely see a revenue lift from Messenger. So, now talking into Messenger itself and how to actually use it. So, what is Messenger marketing? One way to think about it is like email, except that it's interactive. So, in the email world, you might just send a promotion for a new product, but for Messenger, you might actually want to start a conversation. You might actually want to ask customers what they're into. So if someone's interested in dresses, you can say, okay, what kind of patterns do you like to see? And based on their responses, you can actually show them a collection that's personalized to them. And it doesn't have to stop right there. Just like a conversation with a person, it can continue to go. And as your customers engage more in these conversations, you can do things like direct them to sites, have them look at product reviews, or even send them discounts. And here's just a basic example of somebody shopping for dresses and going through the bot's interactive behavior. So what you'll see in these kind of messages, we actually see up to 10 times a conversion rate versus email. And the reason for that is because number one is you're actually personalizing the offer to what the user wants, as opposed to with email, it's hard to tell in the very beginning without the user interacting. And two is there's a feeling that even if there is a discount there's a feeling that the user earned it. It's not just being given out to everyone. It's something that's unique to their interaction, and they've already engaged with you a little bit. And that's a lot of what you care about as a brand. You care about multiple touch points. You care about engaging with your customers. So Messenger allows you to really create these interactive conversations with each customer. So then we can talk about how do we actually do this. I would say that one of the biggest innovations that's happened in marketing is basically marketing automation. If you think about before the days of Klaviyo and companies like that, you would have big brands just blast their customers with the same email all the time. But with marketing automation, you can have an individual conversation with each person. So we brought that same thing to Messenger, and we realized that for Messenger, there's an even higher onus to be personal, because you're reaching someone in their inbox, like where they talk to their friends and family. It should not feel like a spam message. So what Shop Message does is we're a full marketing automation platform. So getting set up, just like Klaviyo, we'll track every visitor's shopping behavior on their site. So what products they viewed, what's in their cart, what do they ultimately buy, how long since they've bought, and then you can use any of these events to trigger personalized messages. So for example, the most basic example is if a shopper adds a product to their cart but doesn't finish the purchase, you should send them a push notification with the message that reminds them of the product that they bought. And so, this flow is, what you're seeing is 10 times more effective than email. And what's great about this is it's stronger at every step of the funnel. It's stronger at the opt-ins, it's stronger at the open rates, click rates, and conversion rates. And I don't know if y'all listened to Reza's talk yesterday from Chule's, but he talked about a customer journey. And abandoned cart is just one specific moment in a customer journey. The beauty of a marketing platform is you can actually plan for the entire customer journey. So, if a user has only opted into Messenger but hasn't really browsed around more, that's an opportunity to just tell them more about your brand and introduce them, and maybe ask them what kind of products they would like. Give them a light quiz. If they viewed some products, you can give them a session summary to remind them that these are the products that they bought. With abandoned cart, people have been running abandoned cart campaigns on many channels already. So, this is your chance to really convert them. And then you get a whole set of really fun, engaging interactions that can happen after the purchase. So, you can ask for product reviews. You can introduce the loyalty program. You can give an easy way for customers to send referrals to their friends. So, later on, you can have a win-back series for people who their last purchase was a long time ago. As an example, one of our customers, they sell protein, and their goal is to get their customers in a 30-day customers in a monthly subscription, but they also offer the ability to just buy one-off protein powder. So what they opted to do is, if somebody bought just a one-off protein powder, then after 25 days, they'll actually send a message saying, hey, you're probably running low. How are you liking the protein? And then based on the responses, you can give an easy way for the customer to enter into a subscription. And so, that's an example of something that you can do with marketing automation, and that makes sense for the Messenger channel.
Nice. This idea of creating conversations just based on the shopping behavior, personalizing it to them. Again, we've spoken about this in Reza's talk and in other previous talks, but it just makes it way more personal and engaging for your customer than, blasting them with the same thing over and over again. And by, doing the blasting thing, it gives your brand a bad impression. It leaves a bad taste in your customer's mind. Whereas something like this is more, they're more engaged and they're happier with your brand. Even if they don't buy right away, it's still a good feeling for them to be talking to your brand in a personalized way.
Yeah, totally agreed. And, the thing is, most of you are you already have this concept of flows. If you're using something like Klaviyo or Bronto, then you already have things like abandoned cart, and you have many of these flows already there. So what we recommend is the very first thing to do is take a look at your flows, sort them by which one's actually doing the most business for you over email, and then adapt it to Messenger and have the similar logic to Messenger.
Yeah.
So, flows are great for reaching people in an automated way, but there's sometimes when you want to let your customers know about a new offer or a special or something new that's coming up. And so you can send a broadcast to everybody on Messenger. But like we talked about in the past, being that Messenger is such an intimate channel, it works best when you personalize the message. So, the thing that we absolutely recommend you do is segment your audience based on what and when people purchase, their gender, and even more. So, in this example, we can take all of the users that has been tracked on your site, and then just segment it down to the people who've browsed or purchased a dress. And then you can send a push notification just to those people, and a message with the dresses that you think they would probably like. And the thing that's nice about this is you could, of course, segment off of what customers are doing on your site. But another thing that people might not know is when somebody engages with their brand over Messenger, they actually provide some information to the brand. So you get their first name, last name, their profile picture, you get their gender and their locale. So that's really powerful as well, because you can know if somebody's male or female without them ever actually explicitly telling you, and you can segment off of that data in Shop Message.
Mm-hmm. That locale thing is interesting too, because like you can segment based off, like here in the South, I'm in San Francisco, it's pretty warm. But I know that in Canada, it's snowing right now. So, you may not want to send the same flower dress for like sunny weather to both locations, right?
That's exactly right. A winter collection is very different based on where the customer actually lives.
Exactly.
So, a lot of people ask me, what is the skill set that you need to really build a messenger program? Because they're wondering, like, who does this? Is it your paid marketing, paid social team? Is it your email marketing team? Is it customer support? And what we find is that the most of the people who, for our bigger brands that we work with, it's usually people from their email team that have all the creative, that know what the message is that they want to get across to their customers is, and they usually manage Messenger. And what we find is, in some ways, Messenger is much easier than email. You don't have to design an entire visual experience from scratch. You have some templates. You have like a text or an image or a carousel template that is basically what Facebook provides, and you're limited to those. So in that sense, it's easier. But one place where it's more complex, and really where a lot of the magic happens, is building out these interactive flows. So in that sense, the best people on your team to build out these messenger flows are the ones who are excellent copywriters, are ones who really know how to engage customers in a conversation, and are able to adopt a conversational tone, whether a customer is happy or upset. So, oftentimes the best people who manage this are someone on the email team paired with somebody from either customer support or from paid marketing.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know if, the people watching, have you already tried setting up Messenger conversations? Have you thought about it but not tried it yet? Like, if you haven't tried it, what were the questions that came up for you, and the reasons why you haven't tried it? And if you did try it, like, what were some of the challenges you had, or what were some of the results you saw? Drop us a note in the chat over there.
Great. So as people can drop notes, we can answer their questions.
Yeah.
So moving on, a lot of people ask, how do you actually get subscribers on Messenger? And there's a lot of ways, and I'll go over some of the ways. Some of the most popular ways are similar to how you capture emails. So using things like modals on your site. And what you see is, with this kind of a modal, there's a lot of things that you can do that are special to Messenger that you can't really do in email. So for example, with our platform and with others out there, you can choose to only pop up this modal if a user's already logged into Facebook, or if they came from Facebook. And that's really powerful, because if a user is not logged into Facebook, you really don't want to take them out of their flow and make them go log in separately. So it's important to be able to have those smarts. And then second of all, you notice that it's just one button, and you can choose from around 20 different calls to action. But if someone were to click on "Keep Me Updated," then they actually, that's it. There's no additional pop-up. There's no typing of your email. There's no logging to Facebook again. At that point, now they've given the brand permission to message them. And what's nice here is, right at this moment, keep me updated. You can immediately fire a welcome sequence to your customers. And most of the brands that we work with, you already have an email capture strategy. So you're already using tools like Balance Exchange or Just or Privy or Wheelio or maybe even a custom tool. So, you're welcome to use, the new modals that we create and customize. Or the thing that we optionally let you do is integrate with your existing email capture tools, so that you don't have to change everything about your setup.
Yes.
So. Another way that's been really popular is engaging customers through the customer chat widget. So what you've probably seen or used a live chat widget like Intercom or Zendesk. You've probably seen those widgets on websites. And with the Messenger customer chat plugin, it allows you to do something similar. You can not only start the conversation on the site, but you can also continue it later on, even when the customer actually leaves the site. And that's one of the things that you can't really do with the other live chat services. So this is powerful, because even after the customer leaves the site, you can still make sure that you provide them with a reasonable resolution to whatever question that they had, and get them to even come back and finish the purchase. So, and also, like right now you're seeing the message saying, "Hi, how can we help you?" But you can have a lot of smarts around this as well. Like for example, if the user has a cart that is more than $100, then instead of saying, "Hi, how can we help you?" it can be something like, can I give you a discount to finish your purchase? There can be different kinds of conversation starters based on what we know about the customer.
Nice.
One of the things that is really popular with Messenger, well, one of the things that we find is our customers tend to use Messenger and they get very excited, because now all of a sudden there's all these conversations created. They see their subscriber numbers go up and they start actually increasing their sales. But now that you have all these conversations started, customers naturally, they want to engage, they want to respond. And the bot can handle a lot of the quick responses, but at some point, there's still going to be, you still have more responses than your existing customer service team can manage. So, one of the things that we've done is we work with the Gorgias team to make sure that there's a very seamless integration. So with the integration, you can more easily manage the conversations. So, specifically what the integration can do is, if a user is just responding to the questions that you sent with the bot that you've designed, like whether it's a quiz or an abandoned cart flow, then those messages can just be automatically archived and won't show up in your Gorgias. They won't necessarily create a new Gorgias ticket, and so you won't see a lot of clutter from people who are just engaging with your bot. But if somebody types in a completely separate message, then those will show up as a ticket, and then you can use all the rich functionality of Gorgias to send an automated message back to your customers. So really, the customers that end up being more successful are the ones that are able to not only drive more conversations for the marketing perspective, but also manage them more effectively with an integration like with Gorgias.
Nice. Yeah. It's things like it helps that it all comes into one flow in Gorgias. So you have your messenger promotions going out. You may also have your email and all the other stuff, and it all gets collected into one flow. And you can actually, with Shop Message, you can set up your flows. But if someone says something that's separate from the flow, then with Gorgias you can actually create automated responses based on the text. So if someone says, "Do you have a size chart?" you can if it's a frequently asked question, then you can set up a rule saying, if the question contains size chart, then you send the size chart response back, and it goes back into the Messenger's channel specifically. So it allows you to scale up your conversations with customers, but also not have to scale up your support team or at the back end of the business.
Great, yeah, we're big fans of Gorgias, and tend to see the folks there quite a bit. Their office is not too far from our San Francisco headquarters, so it's nice. So now that we've talked about a few use cases, I can talk about a few case studies that brands have where brands have used Messenger to really increase their sales. So one example is Fashion Nova, which many of you have heard of. You can read a lot of public figures out there that they're on pace to break $1 billion in sales and are consistently one of the top, if not the top, Shopify stores out there. And Fashion Nova has been an early adopter of Messenger, and they've been using Shop Message for over a year now to really capture abandoned carts, alert their customers of restocks, and start conversations around sales and holiday timeframes. So, one of the things that they did that really killed it in Black Friday is they were looking for a way to cut through the noise of email and the high CPMs of paid media. And they really wanted a way to reach their real customers. So, having had over 1 million subscribers, then what they decided to do is start a conversation with their subscribers. So, and in the conversation, they can introduce the fact that there is a sale, there are new arrivals coming in, and then provide a carousel of products that is personalized for what the user previously browsed or purchased. So, and users can engage with this like directly within Messenger. And then if there's something that they like, then they can click into it to go back to the site. So, what they found is, this campaign alone, outperformed email and was a significant part of the Black Friday earnings.
Nice. Yeah. The idea of like standing out, especially during Black Friday when you're going to get like 100 emails from like different brands in your inbox. Yeah. And they all look the same, right? In the email, there's only so much you can put in the header to make it stand out there. But Messenger sends that push notification on your phone when people are always glued to their phones. I know that you know that for a fact. You don't get those push notifications from email often. I don't think most people have that set, but Messenger will always be there. And so that's the first message you're going to see during the promotions, but probably the only message you'll see. So, no wonder it has such high open rates and click-through rates.
Right. And I would say Fashion Nova is particularly in tune to their audience and their customers. And they know the things that actually lead their customers to get excited. So, they have tens of thousands of SKUs, but still the most popular SKUs and new SKUs sell out constantly. So, sharing that there's new arrivals is a message that resonates with their customers. And what they actually find is that even if they send emails out or even post on social media, by the time customers actually go in and see that message and start trying to purchase, maybe the product's already out of stock. Mm-hmm. So for their customers who are diehard Fashion Nova, they care about getting a notification when there's a new product and being amongst the first to actually go in and being able to buy those. Yeah.
And even like just the copy that they use in that message with the emojis and stuff, that's clearly just like, that's how their customers typically text with their friends using emojis and that kind of lingo, right?
Right.
So they've basically tapped into that sort of communication style as well.
Yeah, we definitely encourage that, using emojis and making it feel really personal.
Yeah.
One other case is if you think about the whole customer journey, there's oftentimes a time when customers are trying to decide which product that they want, and they're doing product discovery and they're really looking for a product recommendation. So we work with the American Eagle Outfitters, and what they're looking for is they noticed that many people would come to their site and they'd see lots of jeans there. American Eagle is amongst the biggest sellers of jeans, especially to a teenage or younger audience. And so, they have so many different kinds of jeans that oftentimes it's hard to navigate. Whereas if you go into a real store, there's somebody there who can ask you a couple questions and really direct you to the product that's good for you. Mm-hmm. So we used a customer chat plugin on American Eagle to, if we notice that somebody is browsing jeans, we say, hey, do you want to take this jeans quiz? And we let them answer just 3 to 5 questions about, how do they want it to fit in the waist? What kind of length do they like? How tight do they want them? What color wash do they prefer? And at the very end, they get a set of product recommendations in a carousel that's personalized to them that they can use to go and purchase. And what we find is, what some of the early data shows is that when a customer can engage with a quiz like this, we notice that there is a significant, there's more than double the rate of conversion. So they're much more likely to end up finishing the purchase because they find a product that they like. But what was surprising is there's also a lift in average order value. And the hypotheses around that is not only are you showing a collection of products that you think the customer will like, you're making it really easy for them to just add all of them to your cart. And that message also continues to stay with them even when they leave the site. So, all these things together really boost your conversion rate and your AOV. It's also just giving more touch points, ways to engage with the site, as opposed to just clicking around different products into different web pages. It feels more conversational.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have a personal shopping assistant with you when you go on to shop like American Eagle. And
exactly.
No matter how beautiful your site is, no one wants to spend, an hour trying to figure out which jeans are good for them, right? And they have things to do. Everyone has things to do. You have the chat pop up and say, hey, let me help you get to your product as soon as possible. That's a much better experience because now they get what they want faster.
Yeah, exactly. So, so ultimately, that's all I had to share right now. I wanted to share a special offer with the group here that, if you use code in the black when signing up for Shop Message, we offer a 1 month free on our Pro plan for unlimited message sends. So, that's really powerful, and there's no risk to getting started. I suggest getting started right now because especially in Q4. Messenger helps you with a couple things. Number one is for the traffic that you're already spending money to drive, it'll boost your conversion rate. And then for number two is you're going to use this time of really high traffic to build up your Messenger list such that, after the holiday season, if you're going through a post-holiday slump, maybe you can weather that slump a little bit more easily. Now you have an audience that you can connect with after the holidays so that you can maybe drive some sales then.
Nice. Yeah, this concept of like increasing the AOV, creating really good customer experiences. This has been like core to the entire summit and to like what big brands do well, like the ones that are really profitable and have succeeded. And so, using Shop Message as well, getting the free month, you can set up some of these conversations and automate your broadcasts and messages before Black Friday hits. And so that you can open up basically a new channel for your business right now, test out some of the stuff, and then like Arjun mentioned, even after because you don't want people to just come and only buy from you when you're on discount and then never come back and shop again. So you can create that really good customer experience. You can follow up with them after they purchase. You can even something as simple as, hey, how do you like the products, right? That makes your customers feel good. And then you can keep that conversation going. And then, during the holiday season or even like next year, you can come up with like some of the newer arrivals and send that to them again. And keep, having those recurring orders come in from your existing customers. So this is, hopefully, you guys have seen some good ideas, been inspired to go and create some of these messenger conversations or campaigns. Are there any questions that you have for Arjun? Drop it into the chat over there. Let us know, or just let us know what you think about messenger marketing. Something that you tried, has it worked for you or not? Or is it something you've been thinking about? And, would you like more help from us in setting some of these campaigns up? Drop it in there. You can always reach out to us. You can reach out to Arjun at Shop Message. You can reach out to me, Sid at Gorgias.io. And of course, you have a free month to just try out Shop Message and see if this works for your business. Right.
One common question that I get is, what are the rules around sending messages to your customers? So that's something that, because Messenger is actually owned by Facebook, you have to abide by Facebook's policies for sending messages. And so you have to be very careful if you're sending promotional messages if you're not allowed to. So what Facebook allows is they have a 24+1 rule, which is you can send a message to your customer. You can send as many messages as you like within 24 hours of them engaging with you, plus an additional one message outside of that window. So, it's the best practices are really to use the 24+1 window responsibly, so that you always have that +1 available to re-engage customers later on. I'll say one more thing, which is this 24+1 rule is not just the end-all be-all. What we've seen examples of customers that they've abided by the 24+1 rule, but the kind of messages they were sending, either were perceived as spammy or just weren't personalized. And so despite adhering to the policies, they got too high of a spam rating. And Facebook can take action by temporarily limiting their ability to send messages. So you just want to be really careful about that. And we've tried to make it a point to work with the brands that care about actually building a long-term customer relationship, as opposed to the brands that are solely looking for a channel to keep blasting. If that's what you're looking for, I would not say Messenger is the best channel for you, because in all likelihood, your customers will respond negatively, and you probably you might not be able to send messages as much. So tracking their customer feedback on messages is incredibly important, and being in tune with what actually resonates with them and what doesn't is important. And there's a bunch of best practices there too. So we suggest that with every message that you send, you should have an unsubscribe button, or you should have a way for users to say, no thanks, I don't want to receive any more. And what you find is, ultimately that's good, because the people who are on your list are the ones who are going to be more highly engaged. And that's the group of people who you want to build up over time. And that's similar to email. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if you have a 1 million or like 10 million person email list. What matters is how many engaged list members do you have, who's actually looking for your emails, who's going to open them and read them and click on them. And so with Messenger, you should be thinking about it the exact same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it goes for any channel, right? You don't want to just keep blasting people with like spammy messages. You may get a few sales in the short term, but in the long term, it's a bad strategy, because you start to lose these customers, and then you always have to keep paying more to find new ones, right? Like the best strategy here is, as acquisition costs increase, you focus on retaining your existing customers, your loyal customers, give them a better experience than any other brand, and they'll always reward you with more purchases.
Right.
All right. Well, that was really great. Thank you so much, Arjun, for all the strategies and the examples and case studies you share with us. And hopefully, like everyone here watching live, and then even the replay after, will get some new ideas to create campaigns for your upcoming Black Friday promotions. And don't forget to take advantage of that free month over there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a replay from this video. It's going to go up on summit.gorgias.io as a replay, and you can find, there's a replay link. If you go to that link, you click on the replays, you can find Arjun's talk over there. And then on that page, you will also find a link to get this discount. So the 1 month free, you'll have a little link where it says get the free offer, and you can go and set that up. If you enjoyed this, let us know. You can always email and contact us if you have any follow-up questions. But otherwise, yeah, thank you all for joining us once again. And hope to see you again for the next upcoming session. That's this afternoon, 2 p.m. Pacific, on by Charles from Stitch Labs.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot, and thank you, Arjun. Have a good day.
Thanks.
See ya.